DMT, the spiritual molecule. Rick Strassman discussed the two theories of pineal gland function in humans, the melatonin model and the DMT model. It's time to venture into analyzing the implication of these opposing paradigms. He describes how the pineal gland, by way of melatonin, inhibits reproductive function. Further, he hypothesizes that pineal DMT opens our senses to profound psychedelic experience. It is as if within the pineal gland there is a powerful dynamic or tension between the two rules it might play, one spiritual, the other sexual. It's fascinating to note that many religious disciplines believe celibacy is necessary to attain the highest spiritual states. The explanation for this idea is that sexual activity diverts the energy required for full spiritual development. One chooses either the life of the flesh or life of the spirit. Nevertheless, celibacy isn't consistent with reproduction, and there is a conflict between the continuity of the species and the anti-sexual attainment of reaching the greatest flowering of the individual spirit. This conflict might be played out biologically in the pineal gland. Valuable resources might go to the formation of either the reproductively important melatonin or the spiritually indispensable DMT, the hormone of darkness or the chemical of inner light. However, this opposition may be more apparent than real. Consider the possibility that pineal DMT releases meditative sexual ecstasy resulting from the strenuous exertion, hyperventilation and intense emotion of the sex act. Psychedelic features do emerge at orgasm. In fact, the highly pleasurable effect of sexual activated DMT production may be one of the major factors motivating reproductive behavior. Practitioners of Tantra attempt to achieve the best of both these worlds. This spiritual discipline recognizes that sexual excitation and orgasm produce highly ecstatic stages and therefore uses sexual intercourse as a meditative technique. By combining sex and meditation, tantric practitioners access stages of consciousness not available with either practice alone. Pineal DMT release, stimulated by both deep meditation and intense sexual activity, might then result in especially pronounced psychedelic effects. There is a third element that ties together reproduction and higher consciousness, the energetic matrix within, which is played out these competing pineal priorities. This is spirit, or the life force.